Rob Bro. He's your sports bro at KKAM.com and the Talk 1340 app.
You guys are not doing any pass blocking. You're just stepping aside and letting them walk in.
Pop, 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 pop. That's what I want. All of you around that ball. What's wrong with y'all? Y'all play like some little girls. Y'all like y'all never played football before. These guys are nothing. You hear me? They breathe just like we do. Yes, sir. They sweat just like we do. Do you hear me? They went through 2 days. We went through 2 days in 110-degree heat. Yes, sir. I want you to hit everything to move. If the ref gets in your way, you hit him. Okay, then, let's play. But they're cheating us too. They're against us too. This is our team. This is us. Let's go right now. Let's get it up now. Let's go.
Welcome in. It's the Rob Bro Show, Talk 103.9 News, Money, Sports. I am the host. You are the co-host. You can text in 806-855-3712. Texas Tech baseball has been postponed and rescheduled. So Bark in the Park night will have to go off another day. Texas Tech baseball will be back in action on Thursday against North Dakota State in a 3-game series leading up to Easter Sunday. The reasoning, the inclement weather. Today is the kind of day where every hitter is begging to play and every pitcher is begging not to play. Please do not make us throw any fastballs where there's potentially 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts into left field. You would have set home runs for sure. We also have high school baseball canceling for tonight, playing tomorrow at 5. Connor, what do you feel about that? What do you feel about the high school baseball tomorrow at 5 instead of tonight? Does that work for you? Do some live scheduling here.
I guess.
Okay. All right. That's from the man himself. So no sports, I would assume, being played tonight in Lubbock, Texas. Go home and watch the G League Finals Game 1 between Jarrett Culver and the Vipers against Mac McClung and the Bluecoats. It'll be a good match, good action. I don't believe Culver actually starts, but he plays starter minutes. I mean, he's a starter. I guess they just have the rotation set. He got there late. He was, obviously in the NBA, and then he went into Spain for like a month, and now he's back in the G League. But there are the finals there. Between Culver and McClung, when the G League needed 2 stars to represent the East and the West in the G League finals, they didn't go to Texas. They didn't go to Texas A&M. They went to Texas Tech. I believe there's also several Kentucky players, and I want to say Derek Culver is on one of the teams from West Virginia, if you remember Derek Culver. So lots of action, lots of Big 12 action there and that. The Texas Rangers also play tonight. They have a roof. They lost last night, though the first texter assures me it doesn't count. He says, hey, Rob, after yesterday's game, didn't count because of the horrible hit to Josh Smith's head. Baltimore pitcher should be in jail for attempted murder. The undefeated season lives on. That was a scary moment. And that was right in the jaw. I did see an update today, recently, that CT scan was clean for Josh Smith. Thank goodness. You never like to see that. And it's not intentional, but it does happen. And you really have to get into that. All right. This is from a plainsman in Dallas. Two North Texas assistants attended yesterday's McCasland event. Matt Brower, primary game planner, excellent recruiter. And Makobo, great recruiter in his own right. They were lead recruiters on Maine UNT portal targets, Tyler Perry and Osamane. Still a lot of McCollum smoke. Could that be the three primary assistants? It could be. It could be. After winning a national championship in football, Texas After winning a national championship at football at UT, Radio worked for UT Radio. I don't know who Radio is. Whoever had the steakhouse in Austin, let me know who you're talking about, because I think we have some. I don't know what you're talking about. But yes, Norrance. Hire him. Do we know who will be on the coaching staff? I think the staff is set. I do think you have two North Texas assistants. And if I was a betting man, I think McCollum is on board. It's not been announced. I'm assuming you'll get that announcement before our shows are over tomorrow. There could be some... Like, you might be trying to hire a fourth and fifth assistant as off-court chief of staff type roles. That could be some of the holdup. He might want to announce his whole staff at once. But yes, I did see the two North Texas assistants yesterday, or who I thought were the two assistants. I don't have their faces memorized, but it was two guys that looked an awful lot like them. And the texter says that they were there, so I'll trust him. I'm actually moderately excited about this G League championship. I watched the, quarterfinals with Mac McClung. It was last Thursday during the Rangers game. I kind of had them both on. G League basketball is... It's quality. The G League is a much different beast than it was even 5 years ago. And I think it's going to be a much different beast in 5 years from now. If I was the NBA commissioner, and I'm not, but if I was, and by the way, I think that job might be open soon. Somebody's trying to tap Adam Silver to go run Disney or something, the sports division. But if I was the NBA commissioner, I would expand the G League to be more like Major League Baseball, where you have an affiliated team and maybe even some more teams out there where you could have an NBA team own the roster, own the contracts of the players on the roster, or at least expanded two-way contracts. So you could bring them up and down. I would add a round to the NBA draft. Now, would this affect college basketball? Yes. It absolutely would. But there would also be more opportunities, and it would cut down on the transfer portal. More guys would just go to the G League. Kevin McCullough, if there was a guaranteed spot in the G League with a two-way contract, might have just gone to the G League and not gone to Kansas. And a lot of guys at that point, if you made a more robust G League, could, stay stateside and play professional basketball instead of having to go to Romania for 10 years. It would be interesting. Brozilla, did you come out on the plus side of your betting this college basketball this season? I would have to check. I didn't make a lot of college basketball bets on sides and totals as much as I did last year. I really got into the prop picks, and I was moderately profitable on the prop picks. About 500, I would say. On the G League, in the new NBA collective bargaining agreement approved last week, they added to the number of two-way contracts per team from 2 to 3. A big help for the G League. Yeah, I would go to 6. And I understand the want for the ability to just have a minor league system that's open to every team, and you can kind of stash one or two guys on your affiliate. But if it's an affiliate, make it an affiliate. And we call the Texas Legends a Mavs affiliate, but only 2 of those guys are on two-way contracts. I mean, you should be able to have a roster of starters that you can stash or draft. Like, imagine a third round of the NBA draft where you could go get some projects. And if you made that a league with more talent, with more opportunity, you could expand the roster and whatever else you need to do. But I do think the G League is a little bit of a hidden giant. And now, they're not going to catch the NBA, but they could be what minor league baseball is in a regional aspect, especially if you go more regional and have them playing in places without professional teams like minor league baseball does. In my opinion. All right, let's take the break. When we come back, I don't know what we're going to do because we're going to talk about ACU and Bark in the Park. I do want to ask the audience, could you complete the 999 challenge? That has been very prevalent lately with the start of the Major League Baseball season. 9 beers, 9 hot dogs in 9 innings. Could you complete the 999 challenge? We'll also talk about pimento cheese. It's the Rob Rose Show. Talk 103.9 News, Money Sports. Welcome back. It's the Rob Rose Show. Talk 103.9 News, Money, Sports. Back to the text line. Okay, Rob, let's talk about our fearless leader. Initial thoughts about the introduction yesterday. Again, I said on this program going into the introduction, I said it last week. I am an absolute sucker for press conferences. I generally believe that introductory press conferences are so easy to execute. You hear about a guy all the time winning the press conference. And a lot of these coaches at that level, at the level of Texas Tech, on the professional level, they know how to do a press conference. And I told myself going in, do not get drawn off sides. do not get too far into it. But I will say this about my initial expectations. I do feel like he comes across as genuine. I do feel like he comes across that there is a genuine connection to the region and to the community of West Texas. And as much as we kind of balk at the idea, I do think that is really important. You know, a place like Texas Tech, you can't just go hire anybody. Rick Pitino would have been a disaster. And I think there are other ways to fit in. You don't have to get a guy from West Texas. You don't have to get a guy who's been here before. You don't have to get a guy who went here. But I do think you have to get a guy who can buy in to the mentality of West Texas. And there are a lot of ways to do that. Mike Leach did that in his own way. Obviously, you've had legendary coaches at Texas Tech who have done that in their own way. Joey McGuire has really bought in to the idea of West Texas tough, and he was doing it before he even got here. He had that hashtag in Waco. And he's bought into the idea that high school football is so important, especially in West Texas, and that's one of his identities. Being a place for high school football. And there's obviously family connections with Joey McGuire and Texas Tech. There are family connections with Grant McCasland. He was the director of ops here. He's been in Lubbock. He's coached in Midland. So I think you struck all the right notes. Now, the actual coaching aspect, talking about being competitive and tough and, you know, talking about playing hard defense and making the crowd a part of the game plan, bringing up the student section, show some familiarity, talking about how much improvement the USA has seen in an atmosphere since he was here when it was built. So I do think there are, or I guess he left right before, but point remains. I do think there are a lot of good takeaways from the introductory press conference, but I think that's just a part of who he is and what he brings. You know, I was never out on McCasland as a dude. I just am a little unsure of going from slow defense to slow defense, but it has worked here. And I keep telling myself, it's not the coaching that was bad this year. It's not the talent that was bad this year. You just have had so many distractions off the floor, it was impossible to keep up. In the locker room. I'm not talking about with us. I'm talking about in the locker room. McCasland also does seem like a departure from distraction. He seems like he's going to be a focused guy. So, did it hit all the right notes? Yes. Did he say he wants to win championships here? Yes. Do I believe him? Yes. I believe he wants to. Can he? I don't know. That's what we have to find out. That texter continues. Transfers to consider: Tyler Perry, Max Abrams from Oral Roberts, Tyler Perry from North Texas, and LJ Cryer from Baylor. You could have said that about any school in the NCAA besides those schools they're leaving from, of guys who want those three guys. Obviously, you have a lead for a guy like Tyler Perry, I would assume. Osamane 2, the 6'10 transfer from North Texas. Perry also putting his name into the NBA draft, so we'll see how long it takes him to come back. He might not commit until June. It also depends, though, with Texas Tech. if you have Davian Harmon coming back, and you have Matt Steffi and Jalen Tyson and Pop Isaacs and Lamar Washington, are you looking for a guard? Now, you're not going to turn down talent, but what kind of players are you looking for? That's the big question. Jason Sasser was also at the reception. Was anyone else surprised to see Bacho there? Bacho has never made any kind of statement to want to leave or to enter into the portal. I was not surprised he was there. Everybody who is not currently in the portal was at the reception. That's a good word for it. So, no, I was not surprised to see Daniel Bacho there. And I think Daniel Bacho was a guy who had a lot of personal issues this year. Maybe with the staff, certainly with his health. He was in a boot still at the event. So, I think what you saw from Bacho across the first several months of the season, if he can take another step like that and be in this system, and in a system where he can maybe run the high points a little bit and get out and do some pick and roll stuff, I think you're going to be really happy with Daniel Bacho last year if he remains. This texter, trying to catch me in a gotcha moment. Why were you watching the basketball game while you were watching the baseball game? It's because baseball isn't exciting enough. So you have to be watching something else, at least until someone happens on the baseball game. Am I right? No. I was at a bar, and 60 feet away was the G League championship or quarterfinals, and I just happened to look over every once in a while. I was watching the baseball game because I like baseball. I'm a masochist, I guess, and enjoy watching slow, plodding, boring baseball. You don't have to. I do. It's a little difficult to find Major League games. You know what happens in college football season, Texter? I watch 4 games at once. They're all exciting. I'm what you call a multitasker. I can do 2 things at once. Sometimes I drive and eat at the same time. It's crazy. Sometimes I walk and read at the same time. I know. I am crazy. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, more Rob Breaux Show after this. Welcome back. Rob Breaux Show. Talk 103.9 News Money Sports. I think there should be a Dallas Mavericks G League team right here in Lubbock. I think there is a Texas Tech player that plays for them that could tell them they should play out here. Yeah, it's Norris. Norris Odiase moved to the Texas Legends near the end of the season. So, there you go. Speaking of Norris, okay. I'm going to skip that one. Hopefully our basketball schedule is improved or is set already. Oh, no, it's not set. No. I don't even know that the Big 12 schedule is set yet, that they know what they're going to do. I would assume the Big 12 schedule will be set at least in principle soon. But no, the basketball schedule isn't finalized until the summer. You look at football schedules and you're years out. You can look at the 2030 non-conference schedule right now, and then you get the conference schedule the year before, but it's just set. You don't get to pick it. In the basketball world, in the baseball world, in the softball world, you're scheduling every offseason. You're calling up teams and saying, hey, you want to do a home and home? So you might have some in principle already, some agreements, but you have not announced anything for sure. I'm trying to think. I know Maui was a year out. I'm trying to think if you're in any multi-team invitationals that have already been announced in basketball. I don't think so. I'm also trying to remember the last time you went to the Bahamas, because you might be able to take a trip internationally too. I don't remember. I think that's every 3 years. What's the rule on that? So you might be able to do that as well. But no, the basketball's not scheduled or set. And now, being at North Texas, McCasland had to play up a lot, and that was his MO. Or at least play like-minded teams. Not like-minded, but teams in the similar atmosphere as him. WAC, Mountain West. He's playing teams like that. So you might see McCasland try to play more on the road, or a Pac-12 opponents or SEC opponents outside. Now, you don't have the SEC Challenge anymore, I don't think. I think you move to the Big Ten Challenge next year. You also have the Big East Challenge, so there will be those games on the schedule. But that's an interesting point that I don't think we've talked about yet. What is the scheduling going to look like under McCasland? I hope it's improved. The scheduling for the last 5 or 6 years has been that of kind of a let's prepare for the Big 12 by being healthy. And while that has worked at times, you've also just capped yourself as a 3 seed because of your non-conference. And it was a really, really, really thin margin this year to get into the tournament. Now, you didn't win enough Big 12 games. But even outside of conference play, you just did not give yourself a chance. So we'll see. I don't know if it'll be more away from the USA or if you'll finally be able to get teams to come to the USA. Because that's another thing. You want to play as many home games as possible, but who's coming to the USA? Who looks at the Raider Riot and this atmosphere and says, yeah, we'll go play there? Surely you can find somebody, even if you have to promise a return trip in the future. We'll see. A couple of texters here. Texas Tech has been undefeated in press conferences since 1999. Yeah, that's kind of the bit, right? I can't remember too many college coaches who just absolutely failed a press conference. Adam Gase in the NFL, when he went to the Jets, failed a press conference because he looked like he was high on cocaine. But any other, it's really easy to win a press conference. It really is. Now, that's not a negative, but I just have tried to teach myself to not take too much from the opening press conference because I absolutely, as I said, am a sucker, self-proclaimed. Dear Brotopia, what is that? What would you pick for your new job?
It's evolving.
It is evolving. We're jumping the shark, maybe. What would you pick for your new job, being a fake wrestler in the WWE or a real fighter in the UFC? This is the easiest question I've ever been asked. I would be a professional wrestler in the WWE, and I would be so over. Might not ever win. Be the mid-card guy. Sell a bunch of merch. Just have bits. Get in the tag team realm. Maybe get a tag team championship. But yeah, I would not be. I would not get in the ring in the UFC. At all. Another texter: getting rid of Adams and Amack is a big help for next year. Look. There's a reason the administration made a move on Adams. Probably a myriad of reasons. And Fardaws Aimaq was in the portal mid-season, got back out of the portal, and then immediately entered the portal to leave. When I've talked about chemistry issues, and when you text in about chemistry issues, and you see it on the floor and all this stuff, it's not just the coaches. There are obviously some issues within the locker room as well. And I'm not saying he was a bad teammate. I don't know that. But just because he was brought up, I will say, I do think that this roster will be better next year. Another year in the system of college athletics to where you can work out and focus on your physical health, get 3 squares a day, and have a nutritionist and a supplement guide and whatever else you need. So yeah, there's that aspect. But also, I do think that this atmosphere has a lot of addition by subtraction. It was a circus last year. And I think you also need to look at how NIL is done in the basketball world. I don't want to limit anyone. But if you could do the base pay like the football team does and then offer the world on top of that, I think that would be much more beneficial to the program. Not that the NIL was an issue. Certainly not because of the NIL guys. But I do think there are ways to improve. I don't think you ever just want to say, well, this is how we're doing it, so we're going to do it this way on anything. All right, this texter. Now I'm intrigued. What's the stage name for bro? First of all, I'm not a stripper. It's not a stage name. What would be my wrestling name? How about this? Text in your thoughts on what my wrestling name should be.
The event could be called the Brodown.
The Brodown, yeah.
WWE Brodown.
Yes, that would definitely be one of them. So text in what you think my wrestler name should be. 806-855-3712. And your wrestler name. Your wrestler name, my wrestler name. Text them in 806-855-3712. It's the Rob Bro Show Talk 103.9 News, Money Sports. Welcome back. It's Rob Bro Show Talk 103.9 News, Money, Sports. Me and Dale were singing. 806-855-3712. I don't know. Reading a text here. And I'm assuming this is something that not everybody wants to talk about, but I'll do it. I don't care. Did you see last night's Raw after WrestleMania or part of it? If so, what did you think? I heard Vince is now back in charge. I'm wondering how WWE is going to be with him back in charge. It was terrible last time he was. I liked Triple H being in charge of WWE Creative. I'll be honest, I've not watched much wrestling. We talked about this yesterday. In the last couple of years, I have kept up with it to a small degree. I did watch all of WrestleMania. I have heard really good things about Triple H being in charge, that the shows have improved, that Vince McMahon has lost his touch and is senile. Certainly felt like the Brock Lesnar swerve was Vince just throwing a double finger. I have heard that Cody was supposed to win at WrestleMania, and then Vince took over and kept Roman as the man. And there were some issues there. I don't know. I frankly don't really care anymore. Mostly because Vince has been so bad over the last decade. I've just really had a trouble buying in and keeping up. Triple H almost pulled me back in the last year, but it's the same old every single year. Every single story is the same now. It's just Vince, big guy, beating little guy kind of stuff. The swerve at the end with Brock Lesnar attacking Cody Rhodes. I don't know what to think of that. If it's all long-term booking and you have a resolution of that story, then I think it's fine, but I didn't like how WrestleMania ended. Wrestling name, Game Changer. Stage name, Rockin' Robbie. Oh, now we're getting stripper names and wrestler names. Now to the stage, Rockin' Robbie. Some texter keeps texting about his text I didn't understand earlier. I get it now. I just don't want to read it. It's funny. We've passed it. We've moved on. If you missed it at the top of the hour, Texas Tech baseball will not play tonight. Bark in the Park postponed against the ACU Wildcats. Due to weather. We'll also not have Texas Sports Marketing high school baseball on tonight. That will be tomorrow night at 5. I believe we'll have Monterey hosting somebody, I think was the plan. But we will do that tomorrow night instead, 5 o'clock first pitch. The Texas Tech baseball game they said postponed, not canceled. So I'm assuming they'll try to fit that in somewhere else. Good. I don't like canceling games. I'd rather postpone them. If you could have had a crystal ball, you could have moved this game up to the week before Texas and had a midweek before Texas. But now you have a Thursday, Friday, Saturday game after an emotional series against TCU. So it'll be a good day off. You'll play North Dakota State this weekend, but you also don't want to lose ACU. ACU has a better RPI right now than Oklahoma. They're 22-6. I mean, you really want to play ACU right now. You want to beat them, but you really want to play them because that's another opportunity. That would be a huge loss. That's not like losing to Mexico. That's not like losing Air Force, a game against Air Force. That's a pretty good opponent. And an opponent better than half the Big 12 right now in the RPI. That you can go out and get, and not too far behind you in the RPI. So you have to assume that ACU, now that they're in conference play, will play pretty well through conference play and have an even better RPI to finish. So, yeah, ACU wants to play you. because they need an opportunity to get in the NCAA tournament. You need to play ACU because you want an opportunity to host. So that's a good postponement. I'll have to look at the schedule to see when they might get that in. But surely there's a midweek opening. All right. That was a show. More WWE talk tomorrow. We'll do the wrestling name bit tomorrow as well. I'll give you mine. We'll power rank wrestlers on Thursday. We'll do it all. WWE week. Heading into WrestleMania Backlash. We'll also be on the Raiderland tomorrow talking Texas Tech. Hopefully we'll get some staff announcements for the Texas Tech baseball world and more. It's been the Rob Bro Show. Talk 103.9 News Money Sports. I've been Rob Bro. I'll be Rob Bro. We'll see you tomorrow.
The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this Talk 1340 program are not necessarily the views of Talk 1340, its advertisers, staff, management, or Town Square Media.